seat. So whatever that is for you, I'm going to do cross-legged. So if you're not comfortable sitting cross-legged, I know your weekly reminder that you don't have to sit cross-legged. You can sit kneeling or however you like, as long as it's you know it's comfortable for you. Because I mean that's really what yoga's all about, working with your body and working with what ultimately feels good. So for today's class, we're going to do a little bit of work into the shoulders, and more specifically working on shoulder stability. So when you think about the shoulder joint, it is crazy mobile. Like you can do loads of things with it. Compare it to the knee. So like your knee is a hinge joint, so it can go boom, boom, right? But your shoulder has got all this mobility. So what you can find is you can get like a lot of injuries from your shoulder just because it is so mobile. So we really want to be bringing a little bit of stability to that. So that's what we're going to work on this afternoon. So once you're in your comfortable seat, just closing the eyes, and we'll come into your breath and into your body, and really just into this time that you set aside for yourself to do your yoga practice today. Just inhaling through the nose and exhaling either out through the nose, or if that's not comfortable, feel free to breathe out the mouth. I just really want you to lengthen the breath and breathe in a way that again feels most natural and most comfortable for you. If you're like feeling a little bit bunged up in the nose, it can feel quite difficult to breathe and kind of get that really deep breath going, which helps our nervous system to relax. So that's what we're looking for. We want that kind of relaxed state. So if I say breathe in and out through the nose and it's not comfortable for you and it makes your breathing shallow, then you do it. Breathe in and out through the mouth if that works for you. Maybe trying to lengthen the exhalation just a little bit. Really tuning into that sensation of relaxation. And when you're ready, just gently opening the eyes. We're going to start some practice. So take your arms out to a T shape. And we're just going to hold this here for like a count of 5. So just really making sure it's nice and stable. Reaching out through the fingertips. And hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep your arms lifted. We're just going to do little circles, just going forward. We're just going to do this. And it's, it's one of these moves, it's the simplest of movements, but actually really good for the shoulder, really good for our stability. All right, coming to center, and we're just going to reverse that, going back away. So it's not a big movement, not a big motion, not a big movement, just a little tiny circles backwards. Perfect. Coming to a stop. Final reach out from the fingertips, reach, and then release the hands down. All right, so we're going to interlace our hands behind us. So just turning so you can see. Interlace the hands behind you and then really push down with the hands. Really open up through the front of the torso. So this will feel great if you've been sitting typing all day. Really opening up through the collarbones, open up through the shoulders. So just pushing the palms in the direction of the floor. And if you've got super long arms, you might need to kind of calibrate. I have quite short arms, so I can reach the floor easily here. Again, we're just going to hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, keep breathing. 1, gently unhook your hands. And we're going to come on to our hands and knees. So if you want to grab anything to pop under your knees here, feel free. Otherwise, we're just going to do some little shoulder dips. So make sure your fingertips are spread nice and wide. Knees in line with the hips, wrists in line with the shoulders. And we're just going to do some shoulder dips. So we're just keeping the torso in line. We're just going to sink the torso down and then push up. So it's like, again, you maybe not even see from that visual, but it's like the tiniest motion. So just up and down. Should feel really nice. Couple more times up. 2 more times up. And down. Last time up. And down. And just come to a nice neutral spine. So from here, we're going to do a little bit of work on the wrists, like wrist weight bearing. So we're just going to do a little bit of warm up. So we're just going to do some little circles in one direction. So take the weight a little bit forward over your wrists and then back. Just kind of warm everything up here. Really nice. We'll do one more time in this direction, and then when you get back to your seat at the back, we're going to switch, coming around the other way. Just kind of really feeling into the palm of the hands and all the way into all your little fingers, into the finger pads. Okay, we'll do one more round on this side. And then coming back to your seat, and then just come back to center. Perfect. All right, so from here, we're going to kick our right leg. Make sure you've got space behind you. You're not going to kick a lamp or anything. We're going to extend our right leg all the way back. So it's in line with the hip. It's not up here. In line with the hip. Push down into your right fingertips, your right hand. Spread the fingers nice and wide and extend through the left hand. I'm going to do a little bit of a balance here, so this is tricky. We're going to hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Replace the hand, replace the knee. We're going to do the same thing opposite side. So maybe take a little bit of time just to kind of let everything settle. And then we're going to rock and roll on the other side. So again, extend your left leg back this time. And again, try and keep it in line with the hip. Toes are flexed, so pointing down towards the ground. Push into your left hand, spread fingertips nice and wide, and extend your right hand out. So again, your right hand's not reaching up for the sky, it's just extending straight out in front of your shoulder. So like a line from the tips of your fingers all the way down to the heel of your back foot. Hold it for 5, 4, 3, looking good, 2, 1. Place the hand, place the knee. All right. From here, we're going to do a supported side plank, and I want you to remember this for later on because we're going to do option for full version. So stepping back with your left foot, so grounding down to the outer edge of your left foot. Extend the left hand all the way up towards the ceiling, so opening up towards the side here. And again, tune into what's happening with your foundation, your shoulder, like make sure your shoulder's nice and stable, fingertips spread nice and wide. Beautiful, holding for a couple breaths. Perfect. Releasing back to center. We're going to do the same thing opposite side, this time stepping your right foot back, grounding down to your pinky toe edge side of your right foot and extend the right hand all the way up towards the sky. Again, make sure your foundation hand is spread nice and wide. So you want to get into the habit of making sure that you've always got a good foundation. So no matter what part of you is on the ground, it is strong and stable. So with the hands, it's kind of easy to imagine that your fingertips spread nice and wide, you're written down through all your knuckles, and everything coming back to center. Placing the hand, replacing the knee. All right, we're not done quite yet on the hands and knees. So again, if you need to lift and kind of release everything out, you can, or pop a blanket underneath. From here, we're keeping the knees and the hips exactly where they are. So you want to imagine that they're rooted down here, they're not going anywhere, and then we're just going to walk the hands forwards. So walking the hands all the way forwards until you feel a nice stretch in your shoulders or your forehead or chin comes onto the mat. So really see what feels comfortable here for you. This is called puppy dog pose, and it is one of my favorite poses right now. I'm just really enjoying it. And this is usually when someone walks into the room and they're like, well, what are you doing? This is where you go, I'm doing yoga. This is yoga. Even though this is quite an intense back bend, I want you to focus on the breath. So breathing deeply. And if you're in a position where you can't breathe deeply, it's a sign that you should maybe lessen off on the pose just a little bit so that you can come back to the breath. From here, taking the gaze forward, lifting the head. If it was on the mat, we're just going to roll all the way forward onto our belly. Perfect. Take the hands underneath your shoulders. And we're just going to come straight back to downward facing dog. So we're tucking the toes under, lifting back through our tabletop, sending the hips up towards the sky. And just take a moment here to do whatever you need to do, whatever feels natural in your body. So it might be pedaling through the feet or shuffling side to side or something else. We've all got our little routines. So once you've done what you need to do, just come to stillness. Just hold here for a couple breaths before we walk forward. Okay, perfect. Taking the gaze forward between the hands, we're just going to walk the feet in to meet the hands. So take as many steps as you like, and the knees as much as you need to. And then from here, we're going to interlace our hands, grabbing the crooks of the elbows, maybe just swaying side to side before we come up to standing. Your ragdoll swaying, bring everything back to center, release the arms, soften through the knees, and we're rolling all the way up to standing. So take your time getting here, there's no rush. And make sure when you get up, you're not flinging your head back because you'll probably get a little bit dizzy. All right, come to the top of your mat if you're not already there. Bring your big toes together if that feels comfortable. If not, feet hip width apart. We're going to extend fingertips all the way up towards the sky, reaching through the fingertips. As you exhale, pull your navel to spine, fold it forwards. Maybe bring fingertips onto the floor. Inhale and bring your hands to your shin, spine nice and long, keep the gaze forward, come halfway. As you exhale, plant the hands, spread the fingertips nice and wide. We're stepping it back to high plank. So knees are lifted here. So we're just holding this for a few seconds. Option to drop the knees if you wish, like there's no problems with that. We're just going to hold here for 5, 4, 3, maybe feel some juicy little core action going on here. 2, 1. All right, okay, from here, we're going to roll the feet onto the knife edge of our right pinky toe, rolling onto your right pinky toe, and then extending left hand up towards the sky. This is full side plank. If this isn't for you today, you can drop the bottom knee down, you can drop the right knee down, come to supported side plank. So we did this earlier. So really, I want you to be conservative with your energy. See how you're feeling. Maybe you're feeling really energetic. Maybe you're feeling a little bit tired. So if you're feeling a little bit tired, I invite you to drop the knee down. Or you can keep it lifted. The option is yours. All right, wherever you are, we're going to take the gaze down to our mat. We're going to replace the left hand, roll back to center, taking the hips up and away for downward facing dog. Perfect. Take a breath here. Look towards the hands, and this time we're going to step our right foot in between our hands. So again, take as many steps as you need to here, or maybe you just fly right through. Spin the back heel down towards the mat. We're going to lift the hands all the way up for warrior 1. Perfect. So take a moment to kind of tune into what's happening with your foundation. So you don't want to be open towards the long edge of your mat. You want to think about taking your shoulder heads, pointing them towards the front of your mat, like you're going forwards, right? Sinking deep into that front knee, making sure you're grounded down to the back outer edge of your thigh, outer edge of your back foot, and extending the arms up. So a couple of options here with the arms. You can bring the palms together if that feels good on your shoulders. Personally, I just like to have them shoulder width apart. It just feels nicer for me, so play with what works for you. Holding here, you probably like that. My knees burning, my thighs burning. You shouldn't feel any burning in your knee. Holding for a couple more breaths. All right, we're going to take the hands down away behind us, interlacing the hands behind us just like we did at the start of class. Punching the fists down, opening up through the shoulder heads. Option to stay here, or we're folding it forwards over that front leg. Extending the hands up. So see where you want to go today. It might be different to tomorrow, it might be different from the next day and the next day. Just hopefully fine. Take another breath here. On your next inhale, we're going to extend all the way back up towards our warrior 1, reaching the fingertips all the way up. And then we're going to spin the back heel up, take the hands down, frame that front foot, and we're stepping it back to plank. Again. And we're holding your option again. If you want to drop the knees, drop the knees. If you want to keep them lifted, keep them lifted. A little bit of a spicy class, this one. All right, from here, we're rolling onto the outer edge side of our left toes. So left pinky toe edge sides down and extending right hand up towards the ceiling. Again, option to drop the left knee down and come into supported side plank like we did at the start of class. Option to stagger the feet, so one foot in front of the other, or option to stack the feet if you're feeling truly like that is right for you, really energetic. Take the gaze down towards the mat. We're going to replace the hands, spin everything back to center. And then we're coming up to downward facing dog. Woo. don't know about you, but I'm feeling nice and spicy and warm. Take a breath here. And then look forward between your hands, and this time we're stepping our left leg through, so we're doing exactly the same thing as what we did on our right side. Spin the back heel down, push into your foundation, extend the arms for warrior one. So really reaching up through these fingertips. Again, check in with your foundation. Shoulder heads are pointing towards the front of your mat. Your back heel is stepped out a little bit to give your hips and your pelvis a little bit of room. Ground down through the outer edge of your right foot, extending the arms, or you can keep them in prayer at your heart center. Hands together or apart, there's so many options. All right, from here, interlacing the hands behind us, punching the fist down. Option to stay here, it's really nice, you can come into like a little mini back bend here if you like. And then option again to come forward or stay in warrior one, whatever you choose. So this is humble warrior. So even though we're folded forward, our foundation shouldn't really change. So still got this nice deep bend in our front knee. Still grounding down through the outer edge of our right foot. We're breathing, always, always, always. On your next inhale, unhook the arms. Lift all the way back up to warrior one. Spin the back heel up. And then we're going to come all the way back to our plank pose, framing that front foot spread, fingertips nice and wide. Step it back for plank. And then we're just going to come all the way back to downward facing dog, sending the hips nice and high. And then we're going to come through to seated. So just step one knee through and the other, come into a little basket and roll onto your seat. Or however you want to come in. Extend your legs out in front of you. Just take a moment here, so toes are flexed, pointing up towards the ceiling. And just take a moment to recalibrate and see what's going on. Take your hands beside you, just in line with your hips. And we're just going to do another little tiny micro movement. We're just going to lift the heels just a wee inch off the mat. So lifting the heels, and you should feel all of a sudden all your leg muscles are like switching on. Keeping that activation, set the heels back down. With that activation still in place, we're going to take an inhale. You can lengthen the arms up towards the sky. Reach as if someone was going to lift you off the floor, and then we're going to fold forward. So pull your navel to spine as you fold forwards. Take the hands wherever they rest naturally. It might be the toes, it might be the ankles or the shins, or it's really nice to actually just have the fingertips on the floor, just way out, kind of like lengthened through the spine. So you want to keep the spine nice and long. So you want to avoid rounding like this. You want to think like this, right? Straight spine. So when we round the spine in our forward folds, it's putting a lot of strain on our lower back. So we want to avoid that. All right, one last breath here. And then releasing the hands, come all the way back up to center. And then from here, take the hands like, I don't know what distance that is, like a wee way behind you. It's not very specific, but you'll get a feel for maybe like 5 inches, okay? I'm not good at measuring. Walk the feet in. And we're just going to come into reverse tabletop. So we're just going to push into our foundations, pushing into fingertips that are spread nice and wide, pushing into our big toes. We're going to lift the seat off the ground. Maybe a little, maybe a lot. See what happens. So take an inhale here. As you exhale, push everything into the mat, lift your seat. Maybe you lift all the way up into this nice line, like you're a little table that someone's going to put a coffee on. Or a cake, even better. And then release it back down towards the mat. Beautiful. Come back to seated, just give your hands a wee shake. All right, we'll do that one more time. Option to straighten the legs. So you can do this variation, or I'll show you one that it's not my favourite pose, but I've been working on it. You know, the ones that we find most difficult are the ones that have the most to teach us, okay? So if you're doing it with straight legs, you're going to bring the toes onto the ground. So it's really tricky posture. You might not get the toes all the way down, which is totally fine. It doesn't matter, but that's the idea. So You might want to, if you're doing it with straight legs, bend the knees a little bit to start, can help you, give you a little bit of space. Or you can have the knees bent a little. See what works, okay? Take an inhale here. As you exhale, push into your foundation, push into your heels, send the toes in the direction of the floor. Maybe take the head back, maybe keep chin to chest. See what is working for you today. If you're taking the head back, take the tongue to the roof of the mouth, help protect those neck muscles. Hold it for one more breath. And then bring chin to chest if it was extended back. Lower your seat back down to the mat. Again, come all the way up to seated. Give your hands a little bit of a shake. Well done, that was really good. We did a lot of the shoulders there. All right, we're gonna bring your feet to standing. We're gonna come to lying down. We're not gonna do core, we're just gonna gently lie down, but with control. So you're not just throwing yourself back, you're just releasing ever so nicely and gently. All right, bring your knees in towards your chest. You can give yourself a little hug if you like. And then we're gonna send the knees over towards the right or the left, whatever side you want to, and then we're extending that left arm away. So if you've got room, you're extending the arm, fingertips all the way at shoulder height. If you don't have room for that, you're doing like cactus arms. And if you like, if it feels good in your neck, you can either keep your head gaze looking up, or you can take the gaze over that left arm. So again, just see how you're feeling today. And I want you to tune into what that right shoulder is up to. Is it lifting off the mat? If it is, I invite you to try and press it back down. So sometimes that means we need to lift our knees a little bit, come out of the twist a little bit to get that foundation in place. Which is totally fine. We want to think about our foundation first. And even though we're like in a quite a deep twist here, think about deepening the breath. So even in postures that our torso is a little bit constricted, so important to breathe deeply. So when we don't breathe deeply, our body goes into this like stress response. And it means that our body's panicking, we're more likely to injure ourselves, our muscles tighten and seize up, and we definitely don't want that if we're doing anything that involves the muscles. So breathe in deeply. All right, coming back to center, give your knees a little hug in. You're doing the same thing opposite side. So taking the knees over towards the left, extending your right arm all the way out. So again, just see if you've got space to lengthen the fingertips out. And if you don't, you can come into cactus arm. Take the gaze over the right shoulder if that feels comfortable. So tune into what is happening with your foundation. Are both of your shoulders on the mat? If they're not, then have a little revisit and see if you can press them into the mat. And again, that might mean you need to lift your knees a little bit, which is totally fine. Focusing on some nice deep breathing here. Holding for another couple of breaths. On your next inhale, pressing everything back into center. Give your knees another little hug in. And then send the legs out to the corners of your mat. So we're coming into relaxation. So sending the feet nice and wide. Letting them kind of flop out towards the sides. Turn your palms up towards the ceiling. Maybe shutting down the eyes if that feels comfortable. If you're prone to falling asleep, maybe come sitting up and do your relaxation sitting up so it's not going to be quite so relaxing. Just take a few moments here. So again, this is another posture where if it's not comfortable for you, then I invite you to explore some ways where you can really make this posture in particular really nourishing and supportive for you. So that might mean bending the knees, bringing the feet to standing, if your knees pointing up towards the ceiling, if you've got any lower back issues. You might want to bring the soles of your feet together, knees pointing out towards the sides. You might want to lie on your belly or your side. Or you might want to just do a traditional Shavasana, so whatever feels good. You can also come to seated, like I said, as well. When you've found your comfortable Shavasana, your relaxation pose, just coming back to the breath, inhaling and exhaling. Just enjoy this time for a few moments and we'll get you in a couple of minutes. And just using this time to say thank you for your body for coming to practice and for trying some things. You know, maybe some of the postures are new to you, or you know, maybe they're particularly challenging. And all that's okay. It's all part of the journey. It's not everything in yoga is supposed to be easy. It's supposed to open us up and challenge us and help us grow both physically and mentally and spiritually. You know. And then when you're ready, hugging the knees in towards the chest, taking any little movements you need to, and then rolling onto whatever side feels comfortable, and slowly but surely making your way back up to your comfortable seat. Gently opening the eyes if they're not already. We're just going to finish with a little bit of a wrist release. So just taking the hands, we're just going to do some little circles with the wrists in one direction. Stop over into the opposite direction. Coming to stop, and then we're just going to flick the fingers. Okay, so just going to flick fingers, and then we're going to pick up the knees. As fast as you can, we're going fast. Holding down it for 5, 4, 3, 2, it gets hard. 1, just release, give everything a little shake out. Extend the arms all the way up overhead, looking up towards the thumbs. And then bringing the thumbs down to land on the crown of the head, between the eyebrows, the seat of wisdom, to the heart, the seat of love. Bowing it down towards the earth and gratitude for yourself, your body, and also the amazing traditions of yoga that have been passed down to us. Coming all the way back to the center. All right, thank you so much for coming along to class today. I hope you enjoyed it.